The courtroom was quiet, too quiet. The kind of silence that presses in on your ears, making you hyper-aware of every small sound. The distant hum of the air conditioning, the faint shuffle of shoes on polished floors. On January 10th, 2026, I expected routine business. Lawyers shuffling papers, a tired couple, ready to end things. The morning light filtered through the high windows, casting long shadows across the benches. Everything seemed ordinary, almost mundane. Mr. and Mrs. Evans sat apart, their faces empty, not angry or sad, just blank. They didn't look at each other, or at anyone else. It was as if they were already living separate lives, even before the judge's gavel fell. That's not normal. Divorce is never nothing. There's always a flicker of pain, regret, or even relief. But here, there was only a heavy, unnatural stillness. Their lawyers stood, presenting a signed settlement. Everything looked perfect on paper. The signatures were neat, the terms clear, as if this was just another transaction. But people aren't paper. Their pain is real, and this agreement felt too cold, too scripted. I could sense the tension beneath the surface, the things left unsaid. I leaned forward, addressing Mrs. Evans softly. "Ma'am, look at me." My voice was gentle but firm, hoping to reach past the mask she wore. She met my eyes, then looked away. "Are you sure this is what you want? Did you sign freely?" I needed to know she wasn't being pressured, that her silence wasn't hiding something deeper. She nodded, silent. Her lawyer tried to speak, but I stopped him. I wanted her answer, not his. The truth had to come from her, not from legal counsel. The silence stretched. It was thick, almost suffocating. In that moment, I knew. This case wasn't over. Something was simmering beneath the surface. The peace in my courtroom was a lie. Something was deeply wrong. The storm was coming, and I could sense its approach in every uneasy glance and every unspoken word. I could feel it in my bones. Years on the bench had taught me to trust that instinct. This was no simple hearing. It was just beginning. The real story was about to unfold, and I was right in the eye of the storm. At first glance, the agreement seemed straightforward. Mr. Evans would keep the family house, while Mrs. Evans would move into a small apartment and receive a modest monthly payment. Everything appeared to be in order, the kind of arrangement you might expect after a long marriage. She gave up her claim to the business they had built together from scratch. The documents clearly stated she agreed to this, her signature neat and steady on the page. It looked like a mutual decision, at least on paper. Her lawyer claimed she wanted a quick end, no messy fight, no drawn-out court battles. But when I looked closer, the child support numbers didn't add up. They seemed far too low for someone with primary custody. Mr. Evans reported a surprisingly low income, despite owning a comfortable house and what was described as a successful business. Meanwhile, Mrs. Evans, a stay-at-home mom, would have the children most of the time, juggling new responsibilities on her own. How could she possibly manage on so little? Then I noticed something troubling. She had waived her right to see the business's financial records. That meant she had no way to verify what the business was truly worth. There was no independent valuation of the business. No outside expert had looked at the numbers. Why would anyone agree to that, especially when so much was at stake? Her lawyer insisted she was fully advised, that she understood everything. But the word expedite was highlighted in the documents, and it rang alarm bells for me. You don't rush justice, not when someone's future is on the line. I glanced at Mrs. Evans. Her hands were clenched tightly, knuckles white against the wood of the chair. She didn't look like someone at peace with her decision. She looked anxious, almost trapped. The agreement, which was supposed to offer closure, was starting to look more like a cage. I began to suspect she hadn't walked into this willingly, but had been pushed. My job was clear. I needed to find out who had pressured her, and more importantly, why. Sometimes the simplest cases on paper hide the most complicated truths. I put the papers down, feeling the weight of the moment settle over the room. The silence was heavy, almost suffocating, as everyone waited for what would come next. The tension was unmistakable, hanging in the air like a storm about to break. "Mrs. Evans," I said, my voice firmer now, cutting through the tension. "Did anyone pressure you to sign these documents? I need you to be completely honest with the court." Her lawyer immediately objected, trying to shield her, but I overruled him without hesitation. The truth needed to come out, no matter how uncomfortable. Mrs. Evans's eyes filled with tears, her composure slipping away. She shook her head just barely, as if afraid to say more. The pain and fear were written all over her face. "Let me see your phone," I ordered, my tone leaving no room for argument. The courtroom seemed to hold its breath. Her hands trembled violently as she handed the phone to the bailiff, her fear now visible to everyone present. It was clear she was terrified of what might happen next. The air was thick with fear, especially from Mr. Evans, who sat rigid, his eyes darting nervously. The entire courtroom seemed to sense that something big was about to be revealed. I scrolled through the phone and found the texts. Cold, threatening words. "Sign the papers or you'll never see your children again. If you tell the judge, I'll ruin you." The evidence was undeniable. This wasn't an agreement. It was an ultimatum, a threat disguised as a contract. The truth was darker than anyone had realized. I looked at Mr. Evans. He was pale, sweating, his confidence gone. The mask he wore was slipping fast. Mrs. Evans was crying openly now, her mask of strength shattered. The courtroom saw her pain for the first time. The lawyers were stunned. They'd missed the fear behind the signatures, blinded by procedure and paperwork. Now the reality was impossible to ignore. I held up the phone for all to see. "Counselors, care to explain these messages?" I demanded. The truth was out, and there was no going back. The agreement was a lie, a carefully constructed facade that had just crumbled in front of everyone. The real story was just beginning to surface, and the courtroom would never be the same after what had been revealed. The courtroom buzzed with whispers. The threats were only part of the problem. I turned to the finances. "Mr. Evans, your agreement says you earn $3,000 a month. Is that true?" He nodded. "But I had a loan application from 3 months ago, for a new boat, listing his income as $15,000 a month. So which is it? Are you lying to the bank or to this court?" He stammered. I cut him off. "You reported one income for a loan, another to avoid supporting your children. That's fraud." His lawyer looked horrified. Mrs. Evans's lawyer had failed her too. No bank statements, no tax returns, just trust. The agreement was built on lies and fear. It was a house of cards, ready to fall. The truth was undeniable. Justice demanded action. I laid out the evidence: divorce agreement, threatening texts, the boat loan. The story was clear. Mr. Evans wanted everything, using threats and lies to get it. He forced Mrs. Evans to accept an unfair settlement, hiding his true income and using her fear against her. He lied to reduce child support, prioritizing his new boat over his children's well-being. The lawyers had failed their duties, one by enabling, the other by neglect. This agreement wasn't consent, it was coercion. It wasn't a settlement, it was extortion. Mr. Evans thought he could fool the court. He was wrong. The law is meant to protect the vulnerable. Today, it would. The truth was now impossible to ignore. The courtroom held its breath. I picked up the divorce agreement, thick with signatures and legal jargon. This document is a sham, built on threats, lies, and fraud. It's worthless. Mr. Evans' lawyer protested. I silenced him. I ripped the agreement in half, the sound echoing through the room. "This agreement is void. We're starting over." Mrs. Evans would get a new, competent lawyer. A financial investigator would review Mr. Evans's finances. A new parenting plan would be made for the children's best interests. I pointed at Mr. Evans. "Your days of bullying are over." The gavel fell, final and loud. Justice was served. The storm had passed. The courtroom emptied. Mr. Evans left, defeated. Mrs. Evans retrieved her phone, offering a small, genuine smile. Relief at last. She didn't need to say thank you. Her eyes said it all. She entered as a victim, but left with hope and a voice. This case wasn't about legal complexity. It was about consent versus coercion. Justice isn't just paperwork. It's seeing the people behind the signatures. The law must protect the vulnerable, ensure every voice is heard, every signature meaningful. Sometimes the most just act is to tear everything up and start again. True justice is about the path, not just the outcome. Today that path was made clear. What's something people don't know about stories? They never truly end. There's always a new adventure waiting for you. Just pick your next tale and I'll meet you there. Subscribe to the Story Circle and let me know which story I should tell next in the comments.